Good morning, Cougars. Today is World Read Aloud Day, and we're going to read aloud my very favorite book in the whole wide world, written by Malcolm Mitchell, literary crusader and Super Bowl champion. The book was illustrated by Michael Robertson and published by Orchard Books. Malcolm loves to read. Now, even in the Super Bowl, this letter in here says he had a book on the sidelines while he was practicing. But as a kid, reading was very hard for him. And his character, Henley, is a representation of himself. Hi, I'm Henley, and this is a story about finding my very favorite book in the whole wide world. Reading can be hard. Once upon a time, everyone thought I hated to read, but that was not true. In some books, the words were too big, the sentences too long, and there are way too many pages. In other books, the pictures have zero to do with cool things I like, or with what's inside of me. I do try, but some books are so giant that if I stood on them, I would turn into a giant. Other books are so boring, I'd rather use them as a pillow. When I'm supposed to be reading homework, I'd rather play football in the backyard. When I was asked to read the cookbook to help make dinner, I would rather see how many grapes I can fit in my mouth. Once, I took a wagon full of books to the town's swimming pool just to find out how good they could swim. When I tried to read books about dinosaurs, they made my brain hurt. So I gave the books back to the dinosaurs. I've tried reading books about mountains, pickles, aliens, monsters, cats chasing mice, and mice chasing cats. I even found a book about cats chasing mice up a mountain while aliens eat pickles with monsters. But none of that made reading easier or more fun. But that all changed when Miss Joy gave me the worst homework assignment ever. I wonder what it is. Find your very favorite book in the whole wide world and bring it to school tomorrow. It can be a book about anything. Just make sure you love it, because you'll be sharing it with the class. The school bell sounded like 100 horns blowing in my ear. Thinking about the yucky homework assignment gave me a super headache, and it made my hands sweaty. On the way home from school, I stopped by the mighty library, hoping to find any book that could be my very favorite. My friends went into the library ahead of me. When it comes to finding books, I'm not so fast. Inside, there was a nice man sitting behind a jumbo-sized desk. I asked him if he could help me find my very favorite book in the whole wide world. He showed me books about science and adventure and squishy animals. He flipped through pages of books about flags, farms, and holidays. He found plenty of books with twisty big words, sentences as long as my legs, and pictures that tangled the pages. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. When I saw my friends reading in the middle of the library, having fun and reading, I felt more lost than ever. place I tried was Miss Rackley's bookshop. Maybe she could help me find my favorite book. Mrs. Rackley did what she does best. She brought piles and piles of books. I looked and looked and looked, but I couldn't call any of them my favorite book in the whole wide world. All those pages and all those words made my eyes tired. I realized it was going to take a book miracle to find my favorite book. I grew a sad face and stomped all the way home. Poor guy. Reading can be very difficult sometimes. Mama was unloading the dryer and she could tell I was having a crummy day. I told her about the worst ever homework assignment. The librarian and Mrs. Rackley tried their best to help me find a book, but it was no use. I'll never find my very favorite book in the whole wide world. With a voice as warm as rolls from an oven, Mama said, "Henley, sometimes the best stories can be found inside of ourselves." And after a sweet kiss on the forehead, Mama's words lit up inside me. That's when I had a brilliant idea. The next morning, I could hardly wait for my turn to share my favorite very book in the whole wide world. I wonder what he chose. Or I have an idea of what he did. Do you? I stood proud as all eyes in the reading circle stared at me. Everyone thinks I hate to read, but that's not true. Yes, some words are too big and some sentences are too long, but that's not my biggest challenge. Before today, I just hadn't found a book I wanted to read. I hadn't found the words or pictures or pages or sentences or subjects that showed me. So last night, I wrote a book. It's called My Very Favorite Book in the Whole Wide World. It's about a big, fat, bumpy journey to finding the perfect book. My book has words and pictures and pages that show me, and that show you me. When I started reading my book out loud for everyone to hear, I struggled. But soon my words began to flow. The pictures I drew danced off the pages. Everyone can have a very favorite book in the whole wide world, even if they have to write it. When I was done with my story, all of my classmates clapped and cheered. My teacher gave me a gold star on my homework, and that's the truth. Cougars, I know reading is hard. Miss Bame struggled as a kid, and sometimes even now I make mistakes. We all make mistakes when it comes to reading and other things. We just have to keep trying and find your favorite book in the whole wide world, even if you have to write it. Once again, we'd like to thank Malcolm and for our Cougars special copy of my favorite book in the whole wide world. Remember, Cougars, just keep reading.